organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up today on this Friday edition of Daily Iowan TV, White House greeting, President-elect Trump meets with President Obama. And ticket increases, learn why sale prices at Kinnick Stadium have increased.
Compared to last season at this time, Iowa football looked quite different.
Now instead, Michigan comes to Kinnick with an undefeated record and the college football playoffs on their minds.
All that and more coming up. Daily Iowan TV starts now. Good morning and thanks for tuning in to Daily Iowan TV. I'm Cole Johnson. After Donald Trump won the election on Tuesday, names have been swirling on who will be a part of his administrative team. Names like Newt Gingrich, Rudy Giuliani, and Chris Christie are all speculated to be involved in a Trump administration. Yesterday, President-elect Trump met with President Obama at the White House. The meeting was to show a peaceful transfer of power. President Obama vowed he would do everything he could to ensure a smooth transition. From there, President-elect Trump went to Capitol Hill for a meeting with House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to discuss the GOP legislative plan. The UI community received another crime alert last night. Early on November 8th, a resident in an East Side residence hall woke up to find an unknown man in their room. There was no sign of forced entry and nothing was stolen from the room. The subject is described as tall and skinny. UI police strongly encourage everyone living in residence halls to lock their doors at all times and to report suspicious activity by calling 911. Tom Brokaw, a successful journalist who attended the University of Iowa his freshman year, announced he has donated his papers and artifacts to the UI libraries. The collection, called The Papers of Tom Brokaw, A Life and Career, spans 5 decades of his work as a correspondent for NBC. Events he covered that are in the collection include the collapse of the Soviet Union and the rebirth of China. These events, among others, are represented with interviews, reflections, and memorabilia. The collection will be available spring 2017. Later today, I'll be sitting down with Brokaw and speaking with him about his donation. Be sure to tune into Monday's edition for a full recap. Iowa City residents had a chance to meet the possible future police chief. The 3 final candidates attended the police chief meet and greet, where they introduced themselves to residents and answered their questions. Residents were able to offer their opinions on the candidates to the city manager. The city manager plans to use the city's feedback when choosing a candidate for the city council. He hopes to determine his appointee by Thursday.
I certainly hope that everybody's here takes the opportunity to fill out a feedback form. And what we'll be looking for are trends in those feedback forms, you know, good or bad. How did people feel interacting with the candidates?
For those who did not attend the meet and greet, you can still voice your opinions on the candidates online to the city manager using the website listed below. Walking to class this week, the weather has been unseasonably warm. Let's toss it over to Sam Edelman in the weather studio to see if these warm temperatures are here to stay. Sam?
Well, Cole, it looks like the temperatures are going to drop. This afternoon, we can expect clear skies with a high of 52, and at night, the temperatures will drop to 36 degrees. Saturday morning, as we go back to Kinnick Stadium to watch the Hawkeyes play, it will be clear skies with a temperature of 38 degrees. And now for your 6-day forecast. Sunday will be clear skies again with a high of 58 and a low of 38 degrees. This Monday, we see clear skies again with a high of 50 and a low of 38 degrees. Tuesday, we can see beautiful clear skies again with a high of 62 degrees and a low of 40. Wednesday, clear skies with a high of 59 degrees and a low of 43. And that's all for your weather this week. Back to you, Cole.
Success on the football field plays a part in boosting the morale of the Iowa Hawkeyes fan base, but you may not know some of the other factors that affect their annual profitability. Daily Iowan TV reporter Tanner Lefevre tells us more.
Concerns over getting fans to fill 70,000 seats for 7 home games was a common theme in the Iowa Athletic Department a year ago. But 2016 has brought renewed optimism and attendance figures, thanks to a variety of factors. A visit to UI's ticket office lent some valuable insight as to why.
You have to consider 2 factors. Last year's 12-0 run and add on the schedule this year, strength of schedule. In all my years of doing this, I don't think I've ever seen as attractive a home schedule as we have for this year.
That home schedule has included the likes of hated in-state rival Iowa State, a visit from an extremely well-traveling North Dakota State fan base and their 5-time FCS champion Bison team, as well as last weekend's tilt with Big Ten border rival Wisconsin. And with games remaining against top 10 and currently undefeated opponents Michigan and Nebraska, it's no surprise that seats at Kinnick are a hot commodity this fall.
We increased season public sales by close to 6,000 season public tickets. The student tickets went up about 1,900. You know, for us, that's a phenomenal growth.
Even though the season so far hasn't gone as well as many Hawkeye football fans had hoped, the expectation is that Kinnick will once again be filled to the brim for Iowa's high-profile Final Two home matchups. So if you're thinking about walking up to these windows on either game day next month and snagging yourself a spare ticket, don't be surprised if all you find is a closed booth with a sold-out sign hanging above the window, thanks to the 70,000 plus fans already inside. Tanner Lefevre, Daily Iowan TV.
Well, I have no doubt that Kinnick Stadium will be packed for this weekend's home football game. Taylor Brooks and Katie Sextro are standing by with more. Ladies?
Thanks, Cole. The last time there was a night game, blackout, the swarm, I remember it was absolutely crazy. I got goosebumps, so it'll be really cool to be on the field.
Yeah, and I'll actually be a fan this time, so I'm really glad I bought season tickets because I've been seeing people are selling them for so much money.
Exactly, yeah. Well, it's crazy to think at this time last year, Iowa was 9-0 in Week 11.
I know, and while they sit at 5-4 this season, they'll now welcome 9-0 Michigan into Kinnick Stadium tomorrow night.
After a brutal beating by number 12 Penn State last weekend to Iowa, the team is ready to fight onward, and they aren't questioning anything.
Penn State's Saquon Barkley had a few words to say about the effort Iowa put in against his Nittany Lions, but head coach Kirk Ferentz believes in this life, it's all about the good, the bad, and the ups and downs.
Everybody out there, it's not like people were just giving up or anything like that, because like I said earlier, you only have 12 guaranteed opportunities to play the game, and, you're working out the entire year. So obviously no one's going to just go out there and, just give up even if you're getting beat. Because, you're going to have sometimes, when you're competing, you're going to have games that don't necessarily go your way. Like Coach Ferentz says, don't let one loss beat you twice. And so we got to make sure that, we learn from the mistakes and, we just dust ourselves off and, get back up and, get ready to go compete again.
In life you have peaks, you have valleys. We all do, individually, collectively. And, that's real life. That's just the way it goes. And if you go out and compete in sports against good oppositions, you're going to experience the good and the bad.
The reaction from his team seems obvious, and that's doing whatever it takes to keep this team together.
Just keeping the team together. That's what it's all about. And the only way to do that is get everybody on the same page, everybody on the same boat, and just thrive to the end and keep pursuing our goals.
Everybody looking ahead, looking to the next day, and you're not looking too far, not looking back, but just focusing on what they need to do daily. The next hour, whatever they need to do during that time.
Nobody's giving up. Everybody's out there, giving it their all, just like it was, a week ago.
And what better way than to rally your troops together than to be a 21-point underdog going into Saturday?
One thing, Coach Morgan likes to talk about, is just, that refusal to quit, refusal to give in, refusal to die kind of attitude. Just being like a rat in the street is what he always says.
Not really looking at any big picture stuff right now. It's just that we know it's a 3-game season right now, and we've got an opportunity to hopefully win all 3 of them, and that's our goal right now, and that's all we can focus on.
As we have seen all season long, Michigan has basically routed through all of their opponents, beating Rutgers 78-0, so things could get very scary very fast if Iowa can't contain.
Yeah, they start pretty well, so I was going to have to contain them.
Yep.
And Iowa's last home game against Wisconsin left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. But just like the fans, the players are ready to be back in Kinnick. But like we said, they know that a huge task lies ahead Saturday.
Obviously, they're a very, very good football team. They come in here 9-0, highly ranked, and they've earned both those things. Every win, their ranking, they've been behind one time in one game. So I think that speaks to them. I think that's as impressive as anything I see when I look at Michigan. is the fact that they've been on their game basically all season, all 9 games.
The Michigan offense is #1 in the Big Ten, and they average about 250 yards passing and rushing every game. They sit second nationally in fewest turnovers, and they've reached the end zone 53 times this season.
They got a lot of depth. Obviously all the skill positions at tight end. Offensive line's really solid. I think they have 4 seniors on the offensive line. And the quarterback, first-year guy, he's doing a great job for them. So, they've been, for the most part, really consistent all year.
Michigan's pass game has been nothing but consistent. Quarterback Wilton Spate has found wide receiver Umaro Darbo and tight end Jake Butt 10 times this season for touchdowns. And they definitely aren't slacking in the run game either. 36 rushing touchdowns have been posted this season already. So what is their defense good at this season?
Pretty much everything. Obviously they're one of the best defenses in the country, like I think top 5 or something like that.
You got it. Michigan actually leads the nation in total defense, whether we're talking pass defense, forcing 3-and-outs or turnovers, and even scoring. They've allowed only 14 red zone appearances from their opponents this season, and a key part of that defense is Jabril Peppers, who pretty much does it all.
We're not going to run away from any certain player. Even though he's a talented player, but we're going to do us and try and get our offense going.
They're good all across the board. They have a good D-line, obviously excellent linebackers led by obviously Peppers, and on the back end with Jordan Lewis playing corner, and then they have obviously all the other DBs are excellent as well. So we're going to have to do an excellent job of being focused and executing on all cylinders.
You never really know what you're going to get with Michigan, so the Hawks have definitely got their work cut out for them tomorrow.
Oh, definitely. Well, there's 2 players for Iowa who know Michigan Week pretty well, and that's LaShawn Daniels Jr. and his brother James Daniels. Their dad played for Ohio State, so they are quite familiar to why this is such a big game.
Obviously, it was a big week. Especially being from Ohio. No one really likes Michigan at all. The team from up north is what they call in Ohio. So, it's always growing up, being little, being a Buckeye fan when I, watched way back then. Obviously, it's always a big week. It was always a big game. It was always, pretty important implications, whenever that game came.
Now, Iowa is 1 game away from being bowl eligible, and how crazy would that be if that was an upset against Michigan?
Like I said in the paper today, crazier things have happened in the last 2 weeks. Well, the game is on prime time. Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, and Sam Ponder will be on the call, 7:12 on ABC. Women's basketball, men's basketball, and cross country are all here in Iowa City. So come back here, meet us here on Monday for all those recaps. Cole, back to you.
Like I said, a night game is always memorable for Iowa fans, but this game is going to be even more special for one fan. That's right, it's time for our Friday Kid Captain Spotlight. Each home game, the University of Iowa Children's Hospital selects one child to be an honorary captain of the Iowa Hawkeyes. This is Hayden. He's 13 years old from Mason City, Iowa. Hayden suffers from Friedreich's ataxia, a rare form of muscular dystrophy. It impairs his balance and heart functions. Despite his condition, his parents say that he is still a happy kid. We here at Daily Iowan TV wish you the best, Hayden. Enjoy the game. And that's all we have for you today on Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest Iowa City news. And be sure to pick up a copy of today's edition of the Daily Iowan. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Cole Johnson, and have a great day.